Om. 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 Sahana vavatu. Sahanau bhunaktu. Sahaviryam karavavahe. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. Ma vidvishavahe. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam. Sairam, everyone. So we are continuing with our study of Suprabhatam. I will ask Mani Aunty to recite the verse.
उत्तिष्ठोत्तिष्ठ प्रतीशा उत्तिष्ठ जगदीपते उत्तिष्ठ करुणापूर्ण लोकमङ्गलसिद्धये.
The next one also you can chant Aunty Chitravati.
शृणोतु. चित्रावती तटविशाल सुशान्तसौधे तिष्ठन्ति सेवकजना तव दर्शनार्थम्. आदित्यकान्तिरनुभाति समस्तलोकान्. श्री सत्यसाई भगवन् तव सुप्रभातम्.
Thank you very much, Aunty. So, Sairam, everyone. So we will look at this next verse, the second verse in the Suprabhatam. उत्तिष्ठोत्तिष्ठ पर्तीश उत्तिष्ठ जगतीपते उत्तिष्ठ करुणापूर्ण लोकमंगल सिद्धये उत्तिष्ठोत्तिष्ठ पर्तीश उत्तिष्ठ जगतीपते उत्तिष्ठ करुणापूर्ण लोकमंगल सिद्धये उत्तिष्ठोत्तिष्ठ पर्तीश उत्तिष्ठ जगतीपते उत्तिष्ठ करुणापूर्ण लोकमंगल सिद्धये. In terms of pronunciation, we'll just pay attention to a few letters. In the word uttishthotishta, this ishto is made up of ish and tha. The ish is a cerebral sh, so the tip of the tongue should point upwards. Same is the case, the tongue should be pointing upwards for the tha also. But the tha is also aspirated because it's a second letter in the t class of consonants or t varga. So same thing is the last letter shtha. Uttishto, tishtha. Then the next word, partisha, there are no aspirated consonants. Then uttishta again appears. It's the same thing as the first word. Jagatipati, no aspirated consonants. Again uttishta shows up. The ushta is same as the first and the third words in the first line. Karunapurna, no aspirated consonants. Loka, no aspirated consonants. In Mangala Siddhaye, the second letter from the end, the, in that there are two letters, id and id. The second letter in the compound word consonant is aspirated. So it's the. Okay. Just pay attention to those. We look at the sandhi split. In the first word, uttishthotishth, there are two uttishta words. The ushta and u join to make ushto. A plus u always makes o. So ushta plus u becomes ushto, uttishto. In the next word, which is partisha, there are two words. Parti and isha, it's a samasa. So maybe I should put a dash just so that you understand. The irti and e becomes thi, longer, elongated. So that's how you get partisha. Then uttishta, no change, it's a simple word. Jagati pate is also a samasa, a compound word. There are no sandhis. I will just put a dash just to separate the words for easy understanding. In the next line, uttishta, no sandhi related changes. Karuna purna is also a samasa. I put an apostrophe. Samasa is a compound word. No sandhi related changes. Loka and Mangala Siddhaye. Actually, Loka Mangala is also you can say samasa. So no sandhi related changes, but there are three distinct words: Loka, Mangala, and Siddhaye. We will look at the word to what meaning now. Uttishta. Uttishta. It appears twice. Uttishta means arise. Okay. Tishta is to stand. Uttishta means get up and stand, type of meaning. Arise and arise. So it's double words are usually used in Sanskrit for emphasis and also to show some urgency. We should not delay in waking up. Uttishta, uttishta. The next word is partisha. Parti refers to puttaparthi. There are some nice meanings Swami has given us to parthi in the discourse excerpt, so we can read them. Swami is saying effulgent actually there. Isha is the Lord of parthi. Jagati pate is also another samasa or compound word. Jagati is earth. There are a couple of words which are used for Jagati, Jagat or the world. One is Jagat, which is a neuter gender word. Jagati is a feminine gender word. It refers to earth or the world or universe, however you look at it. We will again look at Jagati later on. Pate means the Lord. So we are addressing the Lord. All this Partisha means we are calling out to the Lord. Jagati Pate also calling out. The next word is Karuna Purna. Karuna is compassion. Purna means one who is completely filled with it. You can also say complete, Purna. So one who is filled with compassion, completely filled with compassion, you can say. So maybe I should put completely so that completely filled with. Then the next word is Loka Mangala Siddhaye. Loka is the world, the visible world. Mangala is auspiciousness. Siddhaye means to achieve something. Siddhi is achievement. Siddhaye for the sake of. It's a fourth vibhakti or fourth case ending of siddhi. So for the sake of auspiciousness for this world, for accomplishing auspiciousness in this world, we are calling out to the Lord to wake up. The Lord who is within us, dormant, to wake up. The divinity within us, we are asking it to awaken. Okay. The Lord who resides in us should wake up, or we should become aware of that Lord. That's what this verse says. It's a sense of urgency. We should not delay. Uttishta, uttishta, calling out twice. And before each word also there is uttishta. I have not given the meaning, but as you will understand, it's arise. We'll look at a few excerpts of Swami's discourses. What is the meaning of the name Puttaparthi? Parthi means effulgence. So Puttaparthi is the place of effulgence. It is a beacon of light. Earlier it was called Putta Vardhini. Putta means anthill. There used to be anthills and snakes everywhere. The Ramayana has a close relationship with anthills in the sense that anthills grew over its composer, sage Valmiki. He was completely covered by anthills, and snakes were moving in and out of them. There are many snakes of wicked qualities in the anthills of your heart. When you do Namasmarana, remembering the divine name, all the snakes of bad qualities will come out. Namasmarana is like Nadaswaram, which attracts snakes and brings them out of anthills. This Nadaswaram is your Jivanaswaram and Pranaswaram. One has to, for breath of life. One has to repeat God's name in order to get rid of evil qualities. Today, there are many who do not attach any importance to Namasmarana. It's a great mistake. In this age of Kali, only chanting of the divine name can redeem your lives. There's no other refuge. Singing the glory of the Lord is highly sacred. Today, the country is facing a lot of problems because people are not doing Namasmarana. Let each and every street reverberate with the singing of divine glory. Let each and every cell of your body be filled with the divine name. Nothing else can give you the bliss, courage, and strength that you derive from Namasmarana. So we can say Partisha is the Lord of Parthi as a result of when we do Namasmarana, our body and heart turn into Parthi, effulgence, and the Lord will reside in that. So it's a call to us to purify our body and make it the temple where the God will be installed and we'll be able to witness the Lord. Because Loka also at the end of the verse is actually what is seen. So we'll be able to see divinity outside in the world when there is divinity blossoms in our own hearts. So Partisha, Uttishta, Partisha. We'll continue with this another excerpt from Swami's. The Atmic power that vibrates and shines in the foot sheath is known as bodily consciousness. The Atmic power that functions in the vital sheath is called nervous consciousness. The Atmic power that activates the mental sheath is known as mental consciousness. The Atmic power that shines in the intellectual sheath is termed as intellectual consciousness. The power that pulsates the bliss sheath is called pure divine self, Pavitra Purushartha. This is also known as all infinite will. It is this infinite will which protects the world. It is pure ecstasy. The great sages and seers of India strove hard to enjoy this infinite ecstasy. But how can we enjoy this ecstasy? Only the experience of the true meaning of humanity Manavatva can enable us to enjoy this ecstasy. The man who does not realize his true nature is ensnared by the senses, though in reality he is the master of the senses. In this first paragraph, Swami is talking about the five sheaths: Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. Each of them, Swami is talking about the food sheath, Annamaya. Then Atmipower is the vital sheath, is the nervous, which is Prana Shakti. So Pranamaya, Atmipower that activate mental sheath is Manomaya, mind. And the intellectual is Vijnanamaya. And then Anandamaya is pure ecstasy. So Swami is referring to this. So the Lord is actually the Lord of all these also. The man who understands the meaning of Manava, human, is a true Manava. The Vedanta declares that he who knows himself knows all. You should make the right endeavor to know yourself. You can know yourself by developing inner vision rather than outward vision. All sensory activities like sound, smell, touch, and taste are only external activities. We delude ourselves into thinking that these activities are real and ruin ourselves ultimately. It is by harnessing the mind that we will be able to realize the divinity within. Mind is the cause of man's life, sorrow, joy, and liberation as well. It's the mind that makes us oblivious to divinity and lures us to the enchantments of Jagat, world. The very meaning of the word Jagat signifies the transient nature of the world. For Ja means going and Gat means coming. While the world changes, man remains changeless. So this except relates to the second Uttishta, which is Jagati Pate, the Lord of the Jagat. Okay, as Swami says, while the man remains changeless, man is inherently divine. We'll continue. The very word Nara man means the one who is imperishable. For Na means not, and Ra means perishable. It is the self in man which is imperishable, for man is the self. The mind is of four kinds: supermind, the higher mind, the illuminated mind, and the overmind. Man can know himself when he understands the nature of these four types of mind. One has to travel from the supermind to overmind to understand divinity. One has to realize that the divine power which pulsates in him is the same as the one that pulsates in the others. One can understand Manavatva only by realizing oneness. But unfortunately, today man's vision does not extend beyond body and the mind. We should not depend too much on the mind, for the mind cannot travel far. Man remains only as man as long as he rests on the mind. He should attain the state of amanaska, where the mind is extinguished. Amanaska is one who travels beyond the physical mind and enters into the realms of the supermind. Man has to travel from the gross to the supercausal, crossing the causal body in between. The causal body is of great importance to all of us, for in this state, man can bring under his control manas, mind, buddhi, intellect, chitta, reflective mind, and ahamkara, ego. In fine, man is repository of all powers, for all powers are encased in him. There is nothing that man cannot understand in the world, as man is endowed with infinite and marvelous powers. So this excerpt relates to the second Uttishta, Jagati Pate, where Swami is saying the Lord of the Jagat. So, as Swami has nicely explained, the man, the real man who is the Atman, is actually master of the mind and the body. So, to that causal form, we are asking it to awaken, and also the super causal, as Swami said. The word Swami has used as the Stula, Sukshma, Karana. Karana is the causal body, and supercausal is the Turiya, or the fourth one, which is Mahakarana is called, which is the Paramatman who is everywhere in man as well as in the universe around us. There's another excerpt we'll read because it's related to the last one, Karuna Purna. So we'll read about that. The word Brahma is derived from the root Bruhi. Bruhi means that which does not change. It is called Brahma Tattva because it does not change and because it remains eternal. We must adopt the theory of Raso Vaisaha. In order to attain this Brahma Tattva, the entire world or universe is born out of Rasa, God Himself, who is Rasa Swarupa. That which is born out of Rasa cannot be nirrasa or devoid of rasa. Pandits classify rasa into 9 categories. They are called Nava rasas. According to my view, there are no Nava rasas or 9 rasas. There are only 2 rasas. One is Karuna rasa, the other is Shringara rasa. The emotions of Daya, Prema, and Anugraha merge in Karuna rasa. The emotions of Kama, Krodha, and Lobha merge in Shringara rasa. Shringara rasa misleads us, whereas Karuna rasa leads us. Therefore, to recognize our duty, we must take recourse to Karuna rasa. Only through Karuna rasa can we enjoy the proximity of the Lord. That's the real ecstasy or bliss. Karuna rasa offers us pure, selfless love. Selfish love leads to an aspect of Shringara rasa, and that is moha. Moha rasa may be compared to the water that is stagnating in the pond. Karuna rasa may be compared to the water that flows through a river. Moving water ever remains pure. Still water gets contaminated and becomes stagnant. Stagnant water sometimes becomes poisonous because worms breed in it. Flowing water always remains pure and surely and finally reaches the ocean of Anugraha, or God's grace. Moha expresses itself in desiring things. Desires go on multiplying. Moha may be compared to water that is bound in a lake. I will give now an example. There's a girl in one house. There's a young man in another house. Their houses are almost side by side. But the girl does not know anything about the young man, and the young man does not know anything about the girl living in the neighboring house. One day, the girl fell seriously ill. That day, all the people in the house were hectic and they were all anxious, and several doctors were called in. When the boy in the neighboring house heard the noise, he thought it was a disturbance for his studies, and therefore he closed his window and started reading. But in course of time, as a result of destiny, this boy who was living in that house got married to that girl in the neighboring house. The marriage took place in the morning, and in the afternoon, the girl developed a stomachache, and this bridegroom felt very anxious for the girl and her stomachache. Where and when has he developed this attachment to the girl? Because he got married to her, even a little stomachache upsets him now. Though the same girl felt dangerously ill some time ago, he did not feel even the slightest anxiety for her because at that time there was no attachment. or relationship with that girl. So, Abhimana and Mamakara, affection and attachment, are responsible for all joys and sorrows. This is all the result of illusion, but we are all intrinsically embodiments of happiness. We must also try to attain that serene state of mind, the equanimity which enables you not to be elated by joy or depressed by sorrow. When you are able to attain that equanimity of mind, which is above the experience of joy and sorrow, then you can also attain the samadhi. So this is an excerpt from one of the discourses Swami delivered in 1972. That's the 19th discourse. So in this, Swami is talking about what is karuna. Karuna, which is selfless, not bound by attachment. Incidentally, in 1972, during the summer course, when it started, only Mother Ishwarama passed away. And Swami not only gave this discourse, he also demonstrated to the world what is detachment, because he let the summer course continue, though his mother had just passed away. So, attachment should not mar our ability for the world and all the suffering in this world. So, karuna is something which is not related to our own attachment, but to the world at large. So that's the Lord. So Swami is saying the Atman within us is Karuna Purna. Actually, it's capable of complete compassion. And to that, we are calling out and waking up. So that's also one of the statements in this verse. Uttishta Karuna Purna. We'll continue with some excerpts. We'll look at what is Mangala. Loka Mangala Siddhaye. So all this has to be done for auspiciousness of this world. So let's read what Swami has taught. I've got 3 excerpts, I guess. Let's look at it. Man must speak, think, and act only Shubham. Good. For Shubham alone is Mangala, auspiciousness. And Mangalam alone is Shiva. This is what the Shastras, the scriptures also say, isn't it? To speak, think, and act Ashubham, evil, is against the dharma nature of man. If man is to merge in Shivam, Shubham is his instrument. Through Shubham or good, he can achieve welfare in this world and the other heavenly worlds. Welfare is the fruit of knowledge. Illfare is the fruit of ignorance. Through welfare alone can peace, joy, and progress be attained. The very basic duty of man is the welfare of all beings. Promoting it and contributing to it is his right task. Living out one span of life in discharging this task is the path ordained. This is actually from Dhyana Vahini, chapter 4. We'll read next. I think it's the same thing duplicated. A true Hindu or Muslim or Christian should be the embodiment of love. Muslims pray Allahu Akbar, which means God is great. Islam means peace. So a true Muslim is one who leads a peaceful life. Peace originates from a heart that is full of love. Without love, one cannot be peaceful. So for any caste, creed, or religion, love is the basis. Love is Shivam and Mangala, which means auspiciousness. Love does not hurt anyone. That which does not hurt is referred to as Shivam. Man bereft of love is Shavam, corpse. The one with love is Shiva Swarupa, embodiment of auspiciousness. So this discourse Swami gave to the Shivaratri in 1999. As you can see, Swami is equating Mangalam with Shiva. Loka Mangala Siddhaye, and both these are nothing but love in its selfless form, as Swami has said. Okay, so in short, this verse talks about waking up the divinity within us. Partisha, which is effulgence, Lord of effulgence, which is Atman, which is our true self. Jagati Pate, it is the Lord of the world, the master of the world. Swami says, master of senses, body, and mind is the Atman. We are praying that we wake up from our slumber, the Atman. And then Karuna Purna, that which is filled with Karuna, compassion, which is selfless. And through all this, Swami says, Loka Mangalas, there will be auspiciousness in this world. So for that sake, we have to awaken the divinity within us. We'll go to the next verse. Chitravati Tata Vishala Sushanta Saudhe Tishtanti Sevaka Janas Tava Darshanartham Aditya Kanti Anubhati Samasta Lokan Shri Sathya Sai Bhagavan Tava Suprabhatam Chitravati Tata Vishala Sushanta Saudhe Tishtanti Sevaka Janas Tava Darshanartham Aditya Kantiranubhati Samasta Lokan Shri Sathya Sai Bhagavan Tava Suprabhatam Chitravati Tata Vishala Sushanta Saudhe Tishtanti Sevaka Janas Tava Darshanartham Aditya Kantiranubhati Samasta Lokan Shri Sathya Sai Bhagavan Tava Suprabhatam. We will look at some aspects of pronunciation. The word Chitravati Tata Vishala Sushanta, there are no aspirated consonants, so it should be rather simple to read. The word Saudhe, the second letter De is an aspirated consonant, so it has to be aspirated. It's the fourth letter of the third class of consonants, the. So Saudhe. The next word Tishtanti, the Ishtha, just the way Uttishta. The Ish is cerebral sh, and Tha is again aspirated because it's a second letter. In the Ta varga or Ta class of consonants, it has to be Tishtanti. Sevaka Janastava, there's no aspirated consonants. Darshanartham, this Tha is the second letter in the third class of consonants. So it's Nartham, aspirated. The next line, Aditya Kanti, there is no aspirated consonant. Kanti Ranubhati, the Bha is again aspirated because the fourth letter in the Pa Varga, Pa class, just be aspirated. Samasta Lokan, no aspirations. Sri Sathya Sai, no aspirated consonants. Bhagavan, again the Bha shows up, it has to be aspirated. Tava Supra Bhatam, again the Bha has to be aspirated. So those are the letters you have to pay attention to. We will look at in the Sandhi split in this verse now. Chitravati Tata, there are two words, individual words, it's a compound, some word, samasa. Vishala, Sushanta, Saude, no Sandhi related changes in here. Tishtanti Sevaka Jana, again. You can say here also there are two words, but it's a compound word, samasa. Tava Darshanartham, the Darshanartham, Darshana plus Artham, Na and together becomes na, longer. Na. So that's how you get darshanartham. But they are two individual words. Then if you look at the second line, Aditya Kant, Aditya, there's no something related change. Next word is Kantihi, followed by Anubhati. So in this Kantihi Anubhati, the Visarga becomes Ra, and that's how you get Kanti Ranubhati. The Visarga becomes R and joins A and becomes Ra. So Kanti Ranubhati. That's the only Sandhi related change. There are no other Sandhi related changes in the words. Now we look at the word to word meaning. Chitravati is the river Chitravati. Tata is the shore or the banks. Okay. Vishala Sushanta Saudhe. Vishala is very expansive, very wide. You can say expansive also. I'll just put expansive. Sushanta. Shanta itself is peace. Sushanta means very auspicious peace. Auspiciously peaceful. Saudhe. Saudhe is the seventh noun form of the word Saudha. So Saudha means it is a mansion, a palace, or a large building, you can say. Okay. So in the mansion of peace, which is Prashantanilem, which is vast and expansive, which is standing, it's present by the side of the shore of Chitravati. Prashantanilem is by the shore of Chitravati river. Okay, there in that mansion, Tishtanti are standing. It can also mean waiting. Okay. Sevaka Jana. I have put the word Sevadal devotees. Sevaka means people who serve the Lord. The Lord's servants are there. And Janaha means people. So devotees who are Sevadals, who are willing to save the Lord in this world, are waiting next to this Chitravati river in the Prashantanilaya. Tava darshanartham. Tava means your. Okay. It's the sixth noun form of the word tvam. So tava is your. Darshana, vision, okay. Or darshan. Artha means for that sake, for the purpose of having darshan, having your darshan. These seva janas are waiting. Aditya Kanti. Aditya is sun. Kanti is the radiance of sun. Aditya Kanti, the radiance of sun. Anubhati. So it's Anubhati is a word which basically is illuminates or illuminating. So the radiance of sun is illuminating. Okay. Samasta Loka. All the worlds. So then this refrain which comes after every words hereafter is Sri Sathya Sai Bhagavan. O Lord Sri Sathya Sai, Tava Suprabhatam. Your auspicious dawn. Okay, I have translated as the auspicious dawn of your light. So, this seems to be a description of what happens in Prashantilayam. A lot of devotees come, they wait for Swami's darshan. But in terms of the inner, we have already said the Suprabhatam is to wake us up. So, this external thing which is actually seen should be our internal experience also. Because we should be able to bring out that divinity for which a real devotee, all the devotees are waiting. So all those who are waiting for the darshan has to have the darshan within them. For that sake, we are uh, praying to the Lord. Okay. This the next few verses in Suprabhatam, the way I see it, are techniques Swami is giving, which makes it the real dawn of light, the real dawn, which is bringing the divinity in us. So, from this verse, we can understand that we waiting for the darshan of the Lord in a peaceful state of mind, unaffected by the flow of thoughts in our mind, is itself the dawn of light, is the real morning. We'll look at a few excerpts of Swami's and then try to make sense of. So I've taken each of these words and what Swami has spoken about. Like Chitravati river, for example, we think is a river Chitravati. But let's see what Swami is telling us the meaning of Chitravati. Never stray from the path of right. Whatever the trouble or temptation, do not loosen the grip. Do not turn back. Do not allow faith to be upset. If you attach importance to riches or children or fame or fortune, you are thereby announcing that you are devoted not to God, but to riches, children, and the rest. If you are devoted to God, how should you manifest that devotion? Let me tell you how. By manifesting divine qualities, divine virtues, divine love, divine strength. Become Sai. Be Sai. When the river Chitravati is boisterously rolling along, we call it a flood. When the waters have receded, we call it a river. When desires, plans, wishes, and yearnings roll along, we call it the mind. When they subside, we call it Chitta, consciousness. When the white cloth is dirty, it is mind. When the whiteness is restored by washing, it is Chitta. When desires make you greedy to possess, it is mind. When love makes you revere and adore, sympathize and serve, then it is Chitta. The mind can be transformed into Chitta only through Jijñāsa and Sadhana, inquiry and discipline. Jijñāsa is the stage of studentship or apprenticeship. Sadhana is working on a job. And when you go through these two stages, you can afford to be calm, contented, loving all, and being loved by all, as the old man who retires on a pension. When you give expression to your innate divinity, it takes the form of love. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa could not tolerate someone walking on grass. He felt the weight of the feet crushing himself. So this is a discourse Swami gave in 26th, in 1972, September 26th. As you can see, the real Chitravati is the mind without any thoughts. By the side of that, we should rest, waiting to see the Lord. And Swami has said, when love makes you revere, adore, sympathize, and serve, Sevaka Jana. So in our mind should be ready to serve. It should be filled with love. And it should wait patiently without any thought flowing in our mind, no attachment. So Swami says, then divinity, we will become Sai. That is the real dawn of Sai. That's the dawn of the light of Sai in us, and through that we can also spread light around us. So that is the first verse. It's not the waking up of Swami who is sleeping in the mandir. It is waking up the Lord within us, divinity, so that we ourselves can become a spark of that Sai, manifest divinity. So we'll go to the next excerpt. Again, yes, Sister Aruna.
Brother, can you please go back to the previous slide, please? Yes. Then Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he couldn't tolerate even to walk on the grass means. So I'm just thinking to myself, how, yes, we know Swami Pavir everywhere, the Lord Pavir. How to live then? Just I'm thinking, so wherever, not only grass, right? Even anywhere. So what kind of state of mind we should have it at the, like in living in this
So
world?
I think Swami is giving this example, sister, to understand what is karuna, compassion. So he was able to even feel the pain of every single thing in this world. He didn't chase others from walking. That's why I think that's a prayer which we are supposed to chant. Every Balavika student is taught, um, which is basically when we get up in the morning, we ask Mother Earth for forgiveness because we are going to step on the Mother Earth. We ask her forgiveness before we put set foot. That's why even in our tradition, we have to walk. We don't have a choice, but we have to ask permission. We have to pray to the divinity. That is the level of compassion which everyone has to develop. So that's an example. So we can live, but we can live with the awareness of causing pain in this world even when we walk. Until we have that quality, we cannot say we have compassion. And then the thing is, it's a fact, but when we pray to the Lord will bear the burden also. There are stories of, Swami's car driving over a snake and Swami taking the weight of that car tire on himself. So being aware that we are causing pain in this world is the first important thing. That's compassion. And then we'll try to reduce the amount of uh, suffering we inflict in this world. That's all. So that's why even for Bharatanatyam dancers are supposed to pray to the earth, touch the ground before they perform. Because you're going to dance and you hurt the mother, kick the mother. So I think that's the level of awareness which we should develop. So that's what Swami is showing. I hope.
Okay, okay. Just to develop the compassion point of view. Okay, thank you, Sailu.
Another point, have you ever before or anywhere else sat so long listening or waiting to listen to a speech? Sat with such patience, such single minded ardor. Why have you borne all this? To hear my words, is it not? Now, do not let all that ardor go to waste once the listening is over. Take to the Brahma Marga, path of absolute reality, as well as the Dharma Marga, path of righteousness. Earnestly, and after your life has been transmuted into a never ending prayer by the silent effect of Dharma Marga. Forget all in the ecstasy of Brahma Marga. Do not allow the Maya illusion that lies in wait for you on the other bank of the Chitravati to pounce upon you, or to entice you to the worldly life you led so far. Be like the tongue in the midst of the teeth, carefully, confidently, courageously going about its task without getting bitten. I'll just pause here. In those days, people used to cross Chitravati and come to Parthi. Swami is saying on one side of the Chitravati is the world. On the other side of the Chitravati is the Prashantanale. So the mind, as soon as it's pointed toward the world, it becomes manas. When it's focused towards the Lord on this shore, it becomes chittam. Swami says is pure mind. That should not be allowed to pollute. So we should understand by Chitravati Tata means we have to work on making our mind a chitta. And only by that side, everything is peaceful. In that peaceful mansion, there will be divine light. That's where love will reside, God will reside. And that's what Swami is talking about here as well. We'll continue. Study well the disciplinary rules laid down for all who wish to be in Prashantanilaya. These rules are for your own good. Wherever you are, you can make the place a Prashantanilaya. Become parts of my history. Do not get far from me. You have acquired nearness through the accumulated good fortune of many births. If you cut this contact and get away, a time will come when you will weep outside the gates, clamoring for entry. Be free from silly delusions and doubts. Be free from tawdry desires, and I shall take you into me. Okay, so that's also about Chitravati. There's a continuation of that discourse. We'll read another excerpt of Swami's. This also on Chitravati. You're mostly agriculturalists, and so I need to tell you that hope is what you feed on most months of the year. Hope sustains you while you plow, sow, plant, and manure the crops that you raise. That hope you must make a mental habit even in things distinct from agriculture. That will sustain you in all walks of life. Do not give any chance for that vile thing, despair, to eat into the vitals of activity and effort. Despair is a sin against God. When He is in you, why do you lose hope? That is why the Lord says, when I am here, why do you fear? Be always joyful, optimistic, and courageous. You said that the Chitravati river that flows near Puttaparthi flows by the side of your village too, and that it's a link between us both. But it is a very feeble link, if at all, for it is full only for a few days in the year, and the rest of the year it is a sandy waste. If the life-giving waters of courage flow in your heart of hearts, then that Chitravati is more precious than this dry stream. It is a truer link between you and me. So Swami is also giving another link to Chitravati. That is hope, the flow of hope in ourselves, that optimism. That is the link between us and the Lord. We should never despair. We should never sorrow. We should not fear. So all that is described by the word Chitravati, that only in such type of Chitta, by that side the Lord resides, and that's where the light of the Lord will spread in our heart. Okay, so we will go to another excerpt. This is about Shanti. So we'll Swami says, Chitravati Tata Sushanta Saudhe. So what is this Sushanta? We will look at with some excerpt from Swami's discourse. There are many people who are not aware of even the meaning of the word Prashanti. It is as the backbone to each individual, and for the sadhaka, spiritual aspirant, it is as the very breath. The word Prashanti is taken by each to mean something different. Many feel that they have Shanti, peace, when some worldly activities and desires are satisfied. But that is not Nija Shanti, real peace. It is but a Kshana Shanti. I'll just change. Kshana Shanti. Temporary short-lived peace. The syllable pra in Prashanti means expanding, blossoming. And Shanti means absence of kama, desire, and krodha, anger. So Prashanti means to expand the absence of kama and krodha. Man should consider shama, controlling of or calming of the mind, as an important part of his life. The sadhaka, spiritual aspirant, must be constantly engaged in practicing and developing shama. What does the sadhaka strive for? Fulfillment, is it not? Shanti is that fulfillment. This Shanti is the innate nature of man. Viveka, discrimination, Vairagya, renunciation, and Vichakshana, discernment, keenness of intellect, are the unique features of man, and Shanti is the force which fosters these qualities. This Shanti is but a phase, aspect, or portion of the whole of the Atma itself. It is also said that Shanti is similar in nature to the Atma in all its activities, strengths, and fusions. Just as Atma, it too has no beginning or no end, or end. No blemish can mar it. It's equaled only by itself. It cannot be compared with any other. Shanti must be manifested in feeling, word, posture, and deed. Manas, Vak, Kaya, and Karma. In the same uniform, equal measure. Then Shanti becomes Prashanti, the real Shanti. Bereft of such Prashanti, one cannot hope to get either Laukika, worldly, or Amushmika, heavenly, or Kaivalya, absolute unity, bliss. Shanti is the nursery, that's the birthplace of all happiness and joy. Saint Tyagaraja knew this, for he sang Shantamu Leka Saukhyamu Ledu, meaning without Shanti there can be no Saukhya, contentment. All men need it, whoever they are, be they Dantins, ascetics who have completely mastery over senses, or Vedantins, highly learned scholars or philosophers. World cannot sustain even for a moment without Shanti. Absence of mere anger cannot be taken as Shanti. The winning of a desired object and satisfaction one gets then should not be confused with Shanti. The Shanti that has once manifested must not be shaken subsequently for any reason. That type of Shanti alone deserves to be called Prashanti. Prashanti has no ups and downs. It cannot be partial in adversity and complete in prosperity. It cannot be one thing today and another tomorrow. Maintaining the same even flow of Ananda always, that is Prashanti. This is an excerpt from Prashanti Vahini, chapter 1. So we all talk about the human value Shanti. Swami is talking about it, what it is here. What is that Shanti which we have to cultivate? So when the mind is unruffled, no desires, attachment, which is Chitravati, next to that, then there will be Shanti. It's a result of that. That's where the Prashanta Nilayam is, which is the Sushanta Saudha. We'll go to the next excerpt. A few more excerpts, I hope we have time. Brahman is the one that defies positive identification and description. The one that can be indicated only by negations and denials. The one that is eternal and infinite. Being, awareness, bliss, absolute. The one all-pervasive Brahman permeates the entire universe of animate and inanimate objects. This all-inclusive Brahman has assumed the audible form of the primordial word Om. There are four inseparable elements in this supreme Parabrahman. They are Vishwa, Taijasa, Prajna, and Turiya. Jagratavastha, the wakeful state, is the state of normal consciousness and is concerned with the gross world of matter. It brings empirical knowledge of the phenomenal world acquired through sensations and perceptions. It has several means of knowing. These consist of the karmendriyas, 5 organs of action, the jnanendriyas, the 5 organs of perception, and panchapranas, vital energies, manas, mind, buddhi, intellect, chitta, consciousness. I don't think this is a good translation. I'm just going to remove it. I will leave it as is. And ahamkara, ego. In the Jagrata Avastha, these 19 aspects of sensational or empirical knowledge are integrated. It is essentially this knowledge which hankers after the pleasures of the material world. Swapnavastha, the dream state of consciousness, has the subconscious faculty of recognizing and getting an inkling of the holy experience of divinity and sanctity. It is concerned with the subtler aspects of human knowledge and experience. It carries with it subtler impressions of the experiences of the Jagrata Avastha. Prajna and Turyavastha assume different characteristics. Prajnavastha is the transcendental state of consciousness in which the dichotomy between grossness and subtlety disappears in superconsciousness. It is pure prajna or consciousness of divinity. In Prajnavastha, the differentiating and diversifying faculties of the mind become inoperative. That is why it is said Prajna is Brahman. To help man reach the summit of divinity, Krishna has expounded in the Bhagavad Gita the sadhana of dhyana, the path of meditation. In Prajnavastha, all mundane desires and dream wishes are sublimated into the bliss of spiritual experience. The lampent light of Prajna shines steadily in the state of higher consciousness. The Turyavastha is the highest state of consciousness in which the essential nature of the Atma is experienced. Shantam, tranquility, Shivam, goodness, and Advaitam, non-duality, are experienced by the sadhaka. The Turyavastha is a pure, tranquil, and steady state of superconsciousness, in which all discriminating and differentiating gunas, attributes, are transcended and dissolved in the eternal and absolute reality of Brahman. Omkara is the fusion of these 3 primal sounds, A, U, and M. These 3 letters represent respectively Jagrata, the Swapna, and the Sushupti states of consciousness. They also symbolize Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. This trinity represents the 3 personified realities corresponding to the aforementioned 3 states of consciousness. In a garland of beads, a string passes through them and holds them together. In a similar manner, Brahman passes through all jivas and makes them interdependent and interrelated. Sakshatkaram is the immediate, intimate, and unitive apprehension of the absolute, supreme, and integral reality of Brahman. It is a mystical experience beyond mind, space, and time. Dhyana is an aid to Sakshatkara. The eye cannot see itself. Similarly, the Atma also cannot see itself. If a doll of salt is sunk into the sea for finding its depth, the doll gets dissolved in the water and becomes irrecoverable. In a similar manner, the Jivatma in search of Paramatma loses its individuality and identity. Brahman is an unfathomable ocean. A jiva which goes in search of Brahman becomes one with Brahman. Atma and Paramatma are ontologically identical and non-dual. They are only aspects of the highest state of consciousness. In dhyana, manas, mind, buddhi, intellect, and various indriyas, senses, are transcended by means of self-control. All dualities, dichotomies, differences, and relativities disappear in the superconscious state of dhyana. Dhyana is synonymous with the unitive knowledge of Godhead. It is a divya darshana, a vision of and a path to the divine. It leads to Satchidananda, or the integral reality of existence, consciousness, and bliss. It grants Nityananda, or everlasting bliss, and confers Atmananda, or the bliss of the Atma. It helps man sustain Paramananda, or supreme bliss, the Advaitananda, or bliss of non-duality. This is a discourse by Swami during the summer showers in 1979. It's a discourse number 18. So in this excerpt, Swami has covered everything. We are already in the last class, we looked at Purva Sandhya. Sandhya is the time when we do meditation. Then Swami is talking about having darshana. In this verse, Chitravidutta Vishala, Sevaka Jana Darshanartham, for the sake of the darshana of the Lord, they are waiting. So through this Chitravati, when Chitta is without any other thoughts of worldly nature, then we attain Prashanti, Sushanta Saude. There we should remain, Tishtanti, there we should remain, we should wait for the Darshanartham, for the Darshan of the Lord. Darshan of Lord, as Swami has said, it is something which is mind, body, and intellect. It is through dhyana that we experience that divine. It's actually complete merger in that divinity. That is the darshana which the first verse talks about. Only then, if when we attempt to do that, then when we wait for that darshana, then the place, then it becomes Suprabhatam. It becomes a dawn of light, dawn of Swami's light. We will just look at a couple of more small. Aditya Kanti is mentioned, so I thought we'll look at the Aditya Kanti, which spreads everywhere. So we'll take a look at that as well. The sun's reflection is seen in innumerable objects. The sages considered the human body as a vessel in the water, the lake of the mind, of which the effulgence of the sun is reflected. Likewise, recognizing that the divine is present in all living things, they gave him the name Aditya. So Aditya Kanti Ranupadi means the light of the Lord should be reflected in everything in this world. Within us, in our own mind, and it's also on every object in this world. Our last excerpt, with that we'll conclude today's class. Never allow politics to enter your villages. Do not hate anyone. Adveshta sarva bhutanam. Bear no hatred against anyone. Love all. But if you allow politics in your villages, your samaj, society will turn into a samadhi tomb. People in villages today are allowing such things to happen. Happiness would reign supreme when there is unity between the members of a family. There will be no scope for unrest. All will be free from worries. When differences develop between the members of the family, it will become worse than hell. Deho Devalaya Prokto Jivo Deva Sanatana. The body is the temple of, the indweller is the body is the temple and the indweller is God. There are three persons living in the house of human body, namely thought, word, and deed. Man can enjoy peace and happiness only when there is unity among these three. But the mind of man today goes in one direction and his speech goes in another direction. His actions take a different route altogether. If these three persons go in different directions, how can there be peace in such a house? There will be neither Shanti, peace, nor Kanti, light. There will be total darkness of ignorance. In such a situation, what can be the fate of a man except misery? Many people appear very calm and quiet outwardly as if they are free from worries. They put up such appearance due to the ego, but the fact is different. A fig might appear to be very nice from outside, but when you open it, it may be full of insects. Similarly, some people appear to be shining outwardly, but when you observe closely, there will be nothing in them except evil qualities and evil thought. There will be no scope for divine feelings in them. So here Swami is talking about Kanti and Shanti also. Aditya Kantir Anubhati. So the God should reflect in us, and that what the reflection of God also, Swami says, should unite our thought, word, and deed. And only when that happens, there will be Kanti within us, the light within us of the Aditya, the Lord who reflects us. So, yes, you can see this verse tells us how we should live, what we should meditate on, and what should be our goal. And when that happens, that will be the real dawn, the real morning of the Lord, the real spreading of the light of the Lord. So with those thoughts, I will stop. Sai Ram, everyone. If there are any questions anyone has on anything which we discussed, we can take up discussing. Otherwise, we can close the session.
Just a quick question, Uncle. When Swami was talking about when like the river Chitravati, if there's lots of desires, it's called mind. When there's no desires, it's called chitta.
Yes.
So, is that chitta like the storehouse of memories? That part?
So chitta is the place where memories are generally stored. When it's impure, so chitta shuddhi means it should ideally be filled with the divine thoughts. So when it's divine thoughts, it's blemishless and it is divine, which is called chitta shuddhi. So we have to remove any bad impressions which are stored there. That's the process of sadhana. It's so same chitta can contain good things as well as bad things, or a mix of both. All sadhana is to remove what is not proper. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you.
Saira. We'll close the session with Samastaloka prayer. Saira. And coincidentally, the Samastalokan is already there from the time Suprabhatam was there. It's only later on now Swami, I think, realized that we are not getting the message, so he had to chant Samastaloka. So we will complete with Samastaloka prayer. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sai Ram, everyone.